All right, then, welcome back. This is part two of the build your own Arduino security system. So, today we're going to be adding a LCD screen and we're going to be displaying the output from the keypad to the LCD screen. And we're also going to be implementing a simple password setup using the password library. So, the first thing I want to do is, well, first let's actually set up the LCD screen. So you can actually pause the video right here. You can look at, and this is the actual setup that we're going to use to test the LCD screen to make sure everything's working, make sure the code's good. And then actually, as far as the code for this particular test, this is actually just sample code that's already in, that already comes with the Arduino. So actually, if you go to File, Examples, Liquid Crystal, Hello World, and that's the code that's already there. So once the LCD screen is connected to your Arduino and you have the code loaded, just go ahead and connect your Arduino to the computer. And upload a sketch. And what you should see is your Arduino starts to, it'll have hello world written on it, and then it should start counting from one and increment every 1 second. And it'll just keep doing that until you hit reset and it'll just start all over again. So this is a pretty simple sketch. By using the liquid crystal library, it allows us to just set us all up really easily. Pretty much the only thing you need to do to use this is you initiate the LCD screen in the setup function. You set the size of the LCD. So if you have a 16 by 2 or a 20 by 4 or whatever size your LCD screen is, then you can print whatever you want to the actual screen. And this loop, what this does right here is actually just sets the cursor, and then it's gonna print the time since the Arduino is actually cut on. That's what this millis function is. It's the time in milliseconds since the Arduino was powered up. So that's why it increments every second. So cool. So that's all we need to do to actually test the LCD screen. So that's actually really simple. So let's do something a little bit more, a little more complicated, but not too much. Okay, next thing I want to do is add the keypad back into the circuit. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to actually have the LCD display the buttons that we press on the keypad. We're also going to use the keypad as a way to enter a password. So we're going to set a password. If the password is entered correctly, we're going to have it turn on an LED that we have connected to pin 13 on your Arduino, and we'll have it display the LCD screen that it was a successful attempt. If not, the LED won't turn on, and on the LCD screen it'll say that it was the wrong password. Now, in order to do that, we're going to use another library that's going to make this super simple for us. It's called the password library, and I actually put a link below, and a link to the password library. You can go ahead and download that, and this will make this really easy for us. So once you have the password library downloaded, we're going to set up a circuit like this. So I actually put the keypad back where we had it on the first part of this video, from pins 2 through 9, and I actually moved the pins on the LCD screen to A0 through A6. Let's see. I'm actually looking at this sketch right now, and I have one thing that is a little bit out of order. So we have this floating resistor. So ignore this resistor here, and we should have a connection between this potentiometer and this pin right here. So just go ahead and make that, and then everything else on here is correct. And actually, just for argument's sake, I just went ahead and put an LCD screen directly into pin 13. I said LCD, I'm sorry, an LED directly into pin 13, just to make my life easier. I don't have to run any more wires. So once you have all that set up and you have the password library downloaded, you can go to File, Examples, Password, Examples, and Password Keypad. So actually I already have it open. Let me bring it over. And we're ready to get started. Okay, in order to make this work, once we have everything up, we need to add the LCD information into the sketch. So let's go ahead and have this open. So I'm just going to copy and paste some things like right over here. So let's go ahead and include the liquid crystal library. The LCD initialization. Let's see, what else do we need in here? We need to add this to it. So initialize the size of the LCD. In the setup function. Oh, and I also need to add, since we're going to be using an LED, let's go ahead and throw that in there as an output. And that's going to be actually on pin 13. So I'm just going to throw that up here. That's 13. So that's good. So now the way this is set up, we still need to change a few things, but I'm just going to kind of go through and explain how this works. So we have our password set up here. So I'm just keeping it at 1, 2, 3, 4. And the password library itself takes care of like checking the password, and some of the methods that you can use will allow you to append things to the password or reset the password and things of that nature. So in the loop function, we use this the keypad.getKey method, which is the same one we used before. Before, what we did is we actually saved that to a variable, and then we just output that variable to the serial monitor. So instead of doing that, we're gonna just have this. It continuously call this, and the keypad function actually has a method that is called the keypad listener, event listener, and that's actually what it's set up here. So that's what's set up here. So this keypad event listener. So pretty much it is going to listen for when a key is pressed on the keypad. And if a key is pressed on the keypad, it's going to automatically call this function down here, this keypad event. And what this function does is if a key is actually pressed, it'll go through this. I'm going to switch up some of this stuff here. So this is print out the serial. So I'm going to just change this to print to LCD screen instead. I just wanted to print the key actually. So just take that out, print the key. So then it checks the key to see what key if it is the star key, it's going to check the password. So the star is how we actually submit the password for verification. If it is the pound key, it's actually going to reset the password. So I'll reset the attempt of the password. And if anything else, it's just going to append it to the password. So down here in the check password function, which it calls if it's the star key is pressed, it's going to evaluate the password using the password, the evaluate method. Then it's going to print success or wrong. And let's make that print to the LCD screen instead. Okay. And there's a couple more things I want to add to this. One, if the password is input incorrectly or not incorrectly, if password is put incorrectly, or if we reset, I actually want to clear the screen. So we're going to use the clear method, lcd.clear. Add that in there. So we're going to clear the screen. And also once it evaluates the password, I also want to do that as well. So what I'm going to have it do is, if the password was successful, I'm going to have it blink the LED, which I have on pin 13. Did it right. And then we're going to have it clear the screen. So if this is set up correctly, what this should do is anytime we press up a button on the LCD screen or on the keypad, it should print it out to the LCD screen. And then we can use the star key to submit it. If it's correct, the LED will turn on for 2 seconds and turn off, and then the LCD screen will clear. If it's incorrect, the LCD screen will say wrong, and you can try again. And if you want to reset your attempt, just press the pound key. So let's go ahead and plug up our Arduino. Okay, one thing I actually forgot to do is actually change the pinout on the LCD screen. So let's go ahead and do that. So these need to actually be changed from A0 to A5. So A2, A3, 4, and A5. Now, and there we go. Let's go ahead and test this out. And you can see when we put the password in correctly, it says success, and the light comes on. When we put it in incorrectly, it says wrong, and the light doesn't come on. So that just shows you some of the things you can do with by adding the LCD and using the password library. All right, that's it for this week for part 2 of our Arduino basic security system. Next week, we're going to add a RFID module and add another layer of security. So stay tuned for the next segment. In the meantime, if you want to get all the parts that we're going to be using, don't forget to click on the link below and take that 30% off. So see you guys next time.